They made us laugh, cry, and feel every awkward moment. But what really happened after The Big Bang Theory ended? From secret feuds to shocking transformations, career rebirths to real-life heartbreaks, what the cameras didn't show might just blow your mind. Some stars vanished, others rose like never before. One even gave up their United States citizenship. Ready for the truth behind TV's biggest nerds? Let's dive in. Kaley Cuoco as Penny, from America's sweetheart to Hollywood risk-taker. For 12 seasons, Kaley Cuoco was Penny, the girl next door we all rooted for. But when The Big Bang Theory ended in 2019, Cuoco faced a terrifying reality. Would she be remembered for anything other than the bubbly blonde across the hall? Instead of fading into sitcom history, she flipped the script. Kaley launched her own production company, Norman Productions, and dove headfirst into drama with The Flight Attendant, a boozy, messy murder mystery that couldn't be further from Penny. The result? Emmy and Golden Globe nominations and a whole new reputation, serious actress. Then came her voice role as Harley Quinn in the bloody, chaotic, R-rated animated series. Fans loved her unfiltered take. Cute Penny? She was gone. Kaley was now edgy, unpredictable, and thriving. But not everyone bought it. Critics said her characters were too similar. Still, Cuoco didn't flinch. She kept going. Meet Cute with Pete Davidson, a dark comedy about true crime obsession, and now her biggest gamble yet, playing screen legend Doris Day in a major biopic. If she pulls it off, it could redefine her career. Again. Behind the success, doubt, pain, and fear. Kaley admitted she was devastated by how Penny's storyline ended, especially the unplanned pregnancy twist. And when Jim Parsons abruptly left the show, ending it for good, she was blindsided. But Kaley Cuoco isn't here to play it safe. She's rewriting her story in real time and proving that Penny was just the beginning. Simon Helberg as Howard Wolowitz, the eccentric engineer who vanished into serious art. He wore tight pants, flashy belt buckles, and couldn't stop flirting. For 12 unforgettable years, Simon Helberg was Howard Wolowitz, the over-the-top aerospace engineer with a heart of gold. But when The Big Bang Theory ended in 2019, Helberg disappeared from the spotlight. No sitcom follow-ups, no talk show tours, just silence. Turns out, he was reinventing everything. In 2021, he shocked fans with Annette, a surreal musical drama co-starring Adam Driver. Gone was Howard's cartoonish charm. In his place, a brooding pianist layered with emotion. The commitment was so intense, Helberg even became a French citizen to support the film's funding. That's right, he changed nationalities for the role. Critics took notice. This wasn't just a side project. It was a declaration. Simon Helberg is a serious actor. Still, he hasn't abandoned his comedy roots entirely. In a guest role on Poker Face, he returned to TV with his signature wit, this time as a quirky FBI agent. It was brief, but reminded audiences he still knows how to own the screen. Behind the scenes, Helberg has battled anxiety and obsessive-compulsive disorder, struggles he kept hidden during his early fame. But now, he speaks openly about mental health, determined to break the silence many celebrities avoid. Even more shocking? He wasn't even the first choice to play Howard. That role originally went to Kevin Sussman, who later played Stewart. When scheduling conflicts forced Sussman to drop out, Helberg stepped in, unknowingly grabbing the opportunity of a lifetime. And while his journey took a different path from his co-stars, his transformation might just be the boldest. So where did Kevin Sussman go after giving up Howard, and how did he end up stealing hearts as the quirky comic shop owner? Let's find out. Kevin Sussman as Stuart Bloom, the comic book guy who almost didn't exist. He was never meant to be a star. In fact, Kevin Sussman was originally cast as Howard Wolowitz, but a contract with Ugly Betty forced him to walk away, handing the role to Simon Helberg. For most actors, that would have been the end. But for Sussman, it was just a plot twist. A few seasons later, he returned to The Big Bang Theory as Stuart Bloom, the awkward, unlucky-in-love comic book store owner. At first, it was a tiny side character. But then something unexpected happened. Audiences fell in love with him. Stuart wasn't flashy or brilliant. He was lonely, broke, and hilariously relatable. And slowly, episode by episode, Sussman turned him into one of the show's quietest stars. When the show ended in 2019, Sussman didn't fade into the background. Instead, he showed off his range with dramatic turns in Better Call Saul and The Dropout, proving he could do much more than just play the sad nerd. He took on complex roles, like a lawyer in the Theranos scandal, and reminded Hollywood that the underdog has depth. But acting wasn't his only strength. Behind the camera, Sussman co-wrote multiple scripts and even sold a stop-motion series, Dark Minions, to Amazon. Though it never aired, it showed his creative ambition was just getting started. And yet, success hasn't made him immune to the struggles of modern Hollywood. After the SAG strike of 2023, Sussman spoke openly about the harsh financial reality of streaming, how actors now earn far less despite global fame. Stewart may have lived in a comic shop, but Kevin Sussman lives in the real world. And speaking of stars who weren't meant to stay but stole the scene, what happened to Melissa Rauch after she said goodbye to her high-pitched alter ego, Bernadette? You might be surprised. Melissa Rauch as Bernadette Rostenkowski-Wolowitz, the sweet voice that refused to be silenced. She came in small but mighty. With her squeaky voice and sharp wit, Melissa Rauch turned Bernadette from a side character into a sitcom powerhouse. For 10 seasons, she delivered zingers, outsmarted the guys, and proved that you don't have to shout to steal a scene. But when The Big Bang Theory ended in 2019, Rauch had a choice: stay typecast or fight for more. Even while on Big Bang, Rauch co-wrote, co-produced, and starred in The Bronze, a gritty indie comedy about a foul-mouthed former gymnast clinging to faded glory. Producers didn't want her in the lead. They wanted a real star. So she fought back. The film premiered at Sundance, and while reviews were mixed, she was unforgettable. Then came her dream role, voicing Harley Quinn in Batman and Harley Quinn. Rauch added a Jersey edge and a rebellious spark, creating a Harley that was both dangerous and darkly funny. Fans took notice, so did studios. After taking a break to grow her family, 2 kids with husband and writing partner Winston Beigel, Rauch made a big comeback in 2023. She returned to primetime as Judge Abby Stone in NBC's Night Court, a revival of the 80s classic. Not just the lead, she was executive producer too. And this wasn't just courtroom comedy. Her character dealt with alcoholism, grief, and legacy. It was deep, and it worked. The show became a hit and earned a 2nd season. Off-screen, she launched January Productions, co-founded a cancer nonprofit for kids, and continued lending her voice to animated series like Firebuds. Rauch may be 5 feet tall, but her post-Big Bang career is towering. Next up, a former teen star turned neuroscientist, Jeopardy host, and public lightning rod. What really happened to Mayim Bialik after Amy Farrah Fowler? Jim Parsons as Sheldon Cooper, the genius who walked away. For over a decade, Jim Parsons was Sheldon Cooper, the brilliant, awkward, hilariously infuriating genius who redefined TV comedy. He won 4 Emmys, a Golden Globe, and became one of the highest-paid actors in the world. At his peak, $1 million per episode. But just when fans expected him to stick around forever, Parsons stunned everyone. He walked away. In 2018, with CBS begging him to stay for $50 million more, Jim said no. That single decision ended the Big Bang Theory after 12 seasons. Why would a man at the top of his game hit the brakes? The answer? Burnout. Parsons admitted he was exhausted, physically, emotionally, and creatively. He needed a new chapter. But don't mistake silence for retreat. Jim stayed involved as executive producer and narrator of Young Sheldon, helping the spin-off soar to success. He also took bold risks on screen, playing a ruthless agent in Netflix's Hollywood, earning an Emmy nod, and starring in the heartbreaking drama Spoiler Alert, based on a true story. In 2024, Parsons returned to his first love, the stage. He took the lead in Our Town on Broadway, then co-starred with Jessica Lange in Mother Play. No laugh track, no studio audience, just raw live performance, and he nailed it. Beyond acting, Jim and his husband Todd Spywak run That's Wonderful Productions, creating shows that amplify underrepresented voices. Parsons isn't chasing another Sheldon moment. He's shaping what comes next. Will he ever return to the role that made him famous? Unlikely. As Jim once joked, it would take a resurrection. But one thing's certain. The man who brought Sheldon Cooper to life is far more complex and far more daring than anyone ever expected. Mayim Bialik as Amy Farrah Fowler, the brainiac who sparked controversy. She wasn't part of the original gang, but when Mayim Bialik stepped into the lab coat of Amy Farrah Fowler, she changed the Big Bang Theory forever. A neurobiologist playing a neurobiologist? Meta. Perfect. And it worked, earning her 4 Emmy nominations and a new wave of stardom. But Mayim's story didn't begin or end in sitcom land. In the 90s, she was a teen icon with Blossom. Then she disappeared from Hollywood to earn a PhD in neuroscience. Her return, as Amy proved, she still had star power, but post-Big Bang, she didn't slow down, she multiplied. From 2021 to 2023, Bialik starred in Call Me Kat, playing a quirky cat cafe owner. Reviews were mixed. Viewership dipped, the show was canceled. But Mayim wasn't done. She made headlines as a co-host of Jeopardy, sharing duties with Ken Jennings. Fans were divided. Some praised her intelligence, others criticized her delivery. Then came her endorsement of a controversial brain supplement, and her past comments about vaccines resurfaced. Suddenly, Amy's real-life counterpart was under fire. But Mayim doesn't hide. She speaks openly about mental health, OCD, and body image on her podcast, Mayim Bialik's Breakdown. She writes best-selling books. She champions women in STEM. She even directed her own indie film, As They Made Us, a deeply personal drama met with critical respect. She's polarizing, bold, and undeniably herself. And if you thought Amy was unique, wait until you see what Kunal Nayyar, once the shy Raj Kuthrapali, became when the laughter stopped. Kunal Nayyar as Raj Kuthrapali, from lovable nerd to chilling killer. He couldn't talk to women without alcohol. He wore sweater vests and clung to romance like a puppy. For 12 seasons, Kunal Nayyar made Raj Kuthrapali the most lovable loner on The Big Bang Theory. But when the laugh track faded, Nayyar shocked the world. He turned dark, very dark. In 2020, he starred in Netflix's Criminal, UK, as a suspected serial killer, and nailed it. Critics were stunned. This wasn't sweet Raj anymore. This was cold, calculating, and deeply disturbing. The performance earned him a BAFTA nomination and rewrote everything fans thought they knew about him. He doubled down in 2022, starring in Apple TV Plus thriller Suspicion opposite Uma Thurman. More mystery, more edge. Nayyar was on a mission to prove he wasn't just comic relief, but he didn't abandon comedy entirely. In 2024, he reunited with Melissa Rauch in Night Court and starred in the rom-com How to Date Billy Walsh. Then came his boldest leap yet, a Bollywood-style musical remake of A Christmas Carol, where he plays a singing, dancing Scrooge. It could be career-defining or career-ending. He's also a published author, Yes, My Accent is Real, a playwright and a stage actor. He's done Broadway, West End, and voiced characters in Trolls and Ice Age. From misunderstood immigrant to global star, Nayar's transformation is one of the wildest post-Big Bang journeys of them all. And speaking of surprises, what happened to the original bad girl of stand-up comedy who became a fan favorite as the tiny but terrifying Bernadette? Let's rewind to Melissa Rauch's rise. Johnny Galecki as Leonard Hofstadter, the leading man who vanished by choice. He was the heart of the Big Bang Theory, the one holding the chaos together. Johnny Galecki made Leonard Hofstadter lovable, awkward, and painfully relatable. For 12 seasons, he chased Penny, dodged Sheldon, and anchored the nerd universe. But when the show ended in 2019, Galecki didn't pivot. He disappeared. No flashy comeback, no high-profile gigs, just quiet. Why? Because Johnny Galecki didn't want more fame. He wanted peace. Right after Big Bang, he briefly returned to his roots as David Healy in The Conners, but it didn't last. Instead, he shifted behind the camera, developing A-OK, a sitcom about a struggling 1991 internet startup. No acting, just producing, quietly creative. Off-screen, his life was full of change. In 2019, he welcomed his first child with then-partner Elena Meyer. They split a year later. In 2023, he married Morgan Galecki and became a father again. He traded Los Angeles for Nashville, chasing something far rarer in Hollywood, privacy. But the story's not all soft focus. While on Big Bang, Galecki battled Bell's palsy, hiding facial paralysis during filming. He also stirred headlines with a bizarre confession. He was the only cast member to have sex in his dressing room. A shock even to his co-stars. And when he publicly supported gun control after a mass shooting, he lost thousands of followers. He never apologized. Galecki chose a quieter life, but not a boring one. So who's next? A familiar face with a high-pitched voice, a background in stand-up, and a comeback that caught everyone off guard. Melissa Rauch's post-Big Bang story is anything but small. Sarah Gilbert as Leslie Winkle, the sharp-tongued physicist who sparked real-world drama. She came, she roasted Sheldon, she vanished. As Dr. Leslie Winkle, Sarah Gilbert was the Big Bang Theory's original queen of sarcasm. A brilliant physicist with zero patience for male egos. Fans loved her no-nonsense attitude. She was a recurring star until she suddenly wasn't. What happened? Behind the scenes, writers struggled to integrate Leslie into the core group. Despite her biting humor and brief fling with Leonard, the character faded into guest appearances, then disappeared altogether. But Gilbert was never just the girl from Big Bang. Long before Leslie Winkle, she was a household name as Darlene on Roseanne, a role that earned her 2 Emmy nominations. When Roseanne returned in 2018, Gilbert didn't just reprise her role, she produced the show. Then came the tweet that rocked Hollywood. When Roseanne Barr made a racist remark online, ABC pulled the plug overnight. Gilbert publicly condemned the comment. Barr retaliated, calling her a traitor. The drama was brutal, but Gilbert didn't flinch. She launched The Conners as a spin-off without Barr and proved she could lead both on-screen and off. Outside sitcoms, she created The Talk, a bold, female-led daytime show tackling hot-button issues. She co-hosted it for nearly a decade, winning multiple daytime Emmys before stepping away in 2019 to focus on producing and her own projects. Oh, and did we mention she graduated Yale with honors and exhibits her photography worldwide? Sarah Gilbert may not have stayed in the Big Bang Theory, but her career has been anything but small. And speaking of quiet but surprising forces, the next star wasn't supposed to stick around either. But fans fell hard for her horror-loving charm. Let's dive into Laura Spencer's unlikely journey as Emily Sweeney. Laura Spencer as Emily Sweeney, the guest star who stole the spotlight. She was only supposed to last one episode. When Laura Spencer joined The Big Bang Theory as Dr. Emily Sweeney, Raj's horror-loving, sharp-tongued dermatologist, she was just another date in his long string of failed romances. But fans saw something different, something real. Emily wasn't your average sitcom girlfriend. She was dark, confident, and refreshingly blunt. The chemistry worked. The audience responded. Suddenly, she was a recurring character, sticking around for 5 seasons. But Spencer wasn't new to standing out in unexpected places. Before Big Bang, she made waves with the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, a modern YouTube retelling of Pride and Prejudice that won an Emmy. While balancing her time on Big Bang, she also appeared as quirky intern Jessica Warren on Bones, pulling double duty on 2 major shows. After Big Bang, she didn't chase the spotlight. She chased substance. In 2021's 13 Minutes, she tackled real-world issues like immigration and abortion in the middle of a tornado disaster film. Then came guest roles in Grey's Anatomy and Reservation Dogs, proving she was drawn to complex, culture-driven stories. Off-screen, Spencer is the opposite of Hollywood noise. She married in 2019, avoids controversy, and quietly supports causes she believes in, especially around women's rights and mental health. She may have entered Big Bang through a side door, but Laura Spencer made sure Emily Sweeney left a scar, in the best way possible. Now let's rewind to someone who was almost Howard Wolowitz, but ended up becoming someone fans couldn't forget, Kevin Sussman as Stewart.